to find the LCM, and I told you that the LCM is 6. So notice I already got everything ready with the 6 in the denominators. I know that 2 times 3 is 6, so whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. And notice I already have it ready. Now here, I want you to take a very close look. I cannot take 3 away from 5. So I have to do something which is called renaming or borrowing. So I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my 2, and I'm going to borrow. This turns into a 1. Now this is the biggest step I really need you to pay attention to. Whatever our denominator is, that's what we're going to be adding to our numerator. Plus 6. So the reason why I'm adding 6 is because my denominator is also 6. So now my new fraction looks like this. 1 and 9/6 minus 1 and 5/6. Now I can go ahead and subtract them because 9 is larger than 5. So 9 minus 5 is 4/6. 1 minus 1 is 0, and just for right now I'm going to put the 0 there. Now this is one of my final answers, but I can also simplify this. My GCF, or my greatest common factor, is I can divide the top and bottom by 2. Four divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my final answers can be 4/6 or 2/3. All right. We are going to try another problem. So take a look. 4 1/2 minus 3 4/5. So step number 1, we want to find the LCM. So the LCM of 2 and 5 is going to be 10. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 10 here. And if you're like, Ms. Schlafer, how did you get 10? I'm going to go ahead and just show you really quick. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm going to go ahead and list out my 5s. 5, 10, 15, and they both share 10. All right, like before, step 2, we want to change our fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. 2 times 5 is 10. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. Now I'm going to multiply across. 1 times 5 is 5. Now I'm going to come over here. 5 times 2 is 10. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 4 times 2 is 8. Now this is where we're on step 3, borrow if needed. So notice 5 minus 8, I can't do it. So I'm going to have to borrow from next door. I'm going to get another color. And I'm going to cross off 4 because I'm going to borrow 1 whole. So 4 becomes a 3. And remember, whatever your denominator is, that's how much you're going to be adding to this numerator. Plus 10, because you're borrowing 1 whole. So now my new fraction is 3, still 10 on the bottom. 5 plus 10 is 15, minus 3 8/10. So before I move on, I'm going to do a quick review. I had to borrow from the 4 because I cannot take 5 away from 8. So what I did is I borrowed 1 whole, and 1 whole, 10 over 10 is 1 whole. So that's why I have the 10 right here, because my denominator is 10. Now please don't worry if you see that this is an improper fraction. It is okay because we're going to be subtracting them and we won't have that issue at the end. So now step 4 is subtract. So let's go ahead and subtract. 15 minus 8 is 7 over 10. Now we're going to subtract our whole numbers. 3 minus 3 is 0. So I don't really need to write that, but if you want to write it, you could put a 0 right here if you'd like. And 7 is a prime number, so this is my final answer. Please watch the other review videos after this if you need any other additional support.